Yo, 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 what's up, guys? Good morning. Good morning, good morning. All right. So just give me a second, guys, while I pull up the Top Step account and let me let the Discord know that I'm live. 1 second. All right. Yo, what's up, Chulo? Good morning, bro. All right, so we just hit equal highs while I was trying to go live. There was no real setup here. I mean, there was a tiny 1 minute, but not really good enough. Honestly, you could have entered this, but not A plus in my view. But nonetheless, it is working. I'm looking at the higher time frames just to see if there's anything that I like. This daily close is going to be super important. We had this daily high from earlier in the week, earlier last week, I mean, that we actually swept here. And this daily close is going to be super important for us to potentially drive higher here and take out this daily high that we have above. So I'm going to label this in black, but I think this is going to be my overall objective or my target. Maybe even get up into some of these new week opening gaps here. That would be super nice as well. So we'll see what we get, but I think that there's opportunity here for more upside. I wish we got a better setup to these equal highs. That would have been nice for this morning. But so far, there's nothing A plus that I've seen. Let me see what ES is looking like here. I'm going to open up the continuous contracts just to make it easier. And see if we get anything A plus. On the daily chart, let's see how ES is looking. ES behaving quite a bit stronger than NQ here on the daily. I mean, they're both doing pretty well, but ES is a little bit above its internal high, a little bit more than NQ. But ultimately, the draw for me on ES will also probably be this daily high up here. So we will see what kind of a setup we get into there. Looking at the 1 minute chart here, we just swept those equal highs in the buy side liquidity. I think there's definitely still opportunity to go up more here. Let's look at the hourly chart. So we've rebalanced this hourly bullish fair value gap. So I'm expecting this to hold and to continue higher. There is a small chance though that we do come up and we fill this new week opening gap. Yo, Robert, what's up? Good morning. Missed you, Robert. I feel like you've been sick or not active in trading recently, but I may be wrong. But I'm glad that you are back in business, hopefully. Or if you've been in business, I'm glad to see you. So there's a new week opening gap here that opened this week on Sunday. So we could easily get a retest of this new week opening gap before going higher. So there's a lot of different situations here that could play out. We do have news in 3 minutes. 6:45 is going to be, remind me what it was. Who remembers what the news was? It was Flash PMI. Sorry, I'm just looking at some comments. Yeah, I think it was Flash PMI. And then we have GDP on Thursday, guys. So I don't know if you guys don't follow the Discord. In the premium section, I post this, but the Flash PMI is going to be huge. Not huge, but it's a good, important news event that moves the markets. And then we have GDP on Thursday. So Thursday and Friday, I'm going to be live streaming in the Discord. These are going to be the best setup days, in my opinion. These 2 days will be on YouTube, Tuesday and Wednesday as well. But I think the best setups will occur on Friday and Thursday. Okay, so if this 1 minute inverse is to the downside, I mean, this is something we can try, and the reason that it could probably work is because we have swept a daily high, and that could be a liquidity area. I'm trying to look to see if there's any other really good targets on some of the other time frames, but there really isn't. So this is the buy side that just got swept, but like if we look at the 4 hour, I mean the next target is all the way up here, which is possible that we could get here, but today realistically no. I mean that's 250 points, so not an objective I would look for today. And then as far as like any other objective you could look for, I mean you'd have to look to the left of the chart, and I mean to get all the way back there takes some time, right? I don't even think we have data all the way back there at this point. Not on the 1 minute chart at least. So if this does close below, guys, this is actually a decent short that you can try. Stop loss above, TP at the lows. But I don't know what's going to happen with this news event. Ooh. Cool, somebody joined the Discord this morning. Rylam. Okay. So again, we're waiting to see what happens at this 1 minute fair value gap. If we bounce from it, obviously we'll continue higher, most likely to the internal high. But if we close below this, this could be a decent short. Stop the break even here and target some internal lows. Let me see if there's any equal lows anywhere. No, nothing really. Very bullish New York session. I mean London session, sorry. Okay, so very bullish reaction there for the news. You can see we bounced out of the 1 and now we swept that next high again. Exactly. Like I said, guys, make sure you're paying attention to red folder news. It's super important. Don't be surprised when you start seeing big candles, right? And I said at 6:45 we had red folder news, and that's going to take out highs or take us lower. But again, there's no setup here. It's just something to expect. And the high time frame target, unfortunately, has already been hit today. So if anything, you could look for pullbacks into this new week opening gap. But it's going to be very hard to take longs here because of the fact that we've already swept our daily target. Weekly target, there's not much either. The next weekly, there is a weekly fair value gap here that eventually we will want to aim for, right? This is going to be a target eventually. So if we can start pushing, taking out these highs with no displacement lower, or with displacement above, no lack of displacement, then we can ultimately aim for this on one of our days for a target. So we'll see how that plays out. Ooh, Hims is doing well. Ooh, big pullback on the morning session. Whoever added this with me, we're already up like 11% on this position in like 3 days. So congrats to anyone who was in this. I even said this, I even called that on YouTube. I'm pretty sure. Actually, I don't know if I did, but the Discord members know about it. Okay, so the macro time is yet to begin, but it's going to begin soon. I don't know. We'll see if we get any kinds of setups, but this is a very hard spot to be trading, right? Because there's not really much to the left of the chart until this internal high here, and that comes from the daily, correct? Or was that the 4 hour high? So we'll see. Anybody take any trades this morning at all? Let me take a look at the rest of the... Ooh, Riot is up 4%. Bitcoin's at 87. Wow. Tesla's up 6%. Let's go to 265. Nice. I might start selling some covered calls on this position soon. Maybe the 300 calls for a couple weeks out. Nike's down. What else is performing well today? SOXL. Okay, let's go. Celsius up 4%. This one is picking up steam. I think Celsius is headed for 42. So from here, we're looking at a 23% gain. If you look at the hourly chart, it comes from, or actually let's look at the daily chart. It comes from this internal high, but definitely I think these two highs are coming next as well. So this might be a good swing trade opportunity. Enphase up 3%. This one is going to be beautiful when it comes time, and I will alert you guys obviously when I get it, but okay, so nothing here, guys. I mean, there's no fair value gaps, no real targets. NQ is not really something that I would really focus on right now, to be honest. Unless we get some kind of an amazing liquidity sweep to the downside and then an A plus IFEG, and then you can use the highs that have formed today as your targets for later today. But I'm not seeing anything A plus, and because of that, I'm probably going to sit out. But if something A plus presents itself, I will let you guys know, obviously. I'll see how ES's chart is looking. So ES's daily target is quite a bit lower. There also is a daily target on ES here. Or a 4-hour target, I mean, sorry. This might be a better draw, and I think ES is probably going to draw to that high today, if I had to guess. We have swept the first buy side here on the 4-hour, so it is possible we get a retest, but we pretty much already have, right? This was the retest. It was originally resistance, right? And now it's potentially support, so it breaks out of it, retests it, and then goes higher. So wouldn't be surprised to see that be the low and then to take us up to this internal high, which tells me that NQ is probably going to be bullish too here. Super happy with Tesla's performance though. See what I can get for some covered calls on Tesla. Is anyone else looking to sell covered calls here? Wow. You can sell the 300 covered calls just a month out for almost $800. That's crazy. I might do that on some of my contracts. Maybe we wait a little longer to see if we get better performance. If I look at Tesla, let's look at Tesla. Wow, it's up 7% now. So it looks like we're probably going to come up and retest the top of this IFEG, which is at 309. So maybe we'll start to sell covered calls when we get into this pocket of price right here. That's what I'm thinking. Because normally, especially if we completely inverse a fair value gap like this, what we normally do is come up and retest it. So I think that's a good spot to sell covered calls if you're going to. But this is a very rare pattern, by the way, guys. I don't know if you knew that, but we have this double pin bar inside of a daily fair value gap and a daily gap. It is a weekly fair value gap as well. This is a very rare scenario, and this could be the lows on Tesla. Who knows, but definitely expecting more bullish price action here. But yeah, if I look at this here, right, there's not really anything A plus. No bearish fair value gaps to the downside either. But if I look at ES, right, I'm thinking this is the target. So if we can get an A plus setup on NQ, and we can use this as our guide. So like when ES is able to hit its high, then we can close out our NQ position. That's an opportunity. Or we can take something on ES. But again, no A plus setups are forming here, so it's hard for me to even think about calculating something like that. I think we might be able to get a bearish setup on gold. Let me see what gold is doing. So, well, it has filled its daily gap, so less likely to get a nice setup here. I don't really like trading gold as much, but sometimes when the indices are really bullish, you can look at gold for a short. Actually, this is actually a pretty good spot. I mean, we're in a very bearish hourly candle here. This is an hourly fair value gap. So this could easily be used to rebalance price and go lower and target these lows down here. So we'll see if we get something there. But objectively, this would be the target on gold down here. Label this in white. Yo, what's up, Rachel? Good morning. Warriors for Sure. My dad said Lockheed Martin has multiple new products they are bringing to the market. Military exoskeletons. SR-72. What is that? SR-72 a middle. Is that a typo? That's so cool, Robert. Let's take a look at Lockheed Martin stock. This is actually something I was looking to add for the long term. But I'm looking for a sell-side liquidity sweep. It's a jet. So they just released the 6th generation fighter jet. I don't know if you guys saw that. Trump was talking about it. So very bearish reaction here from this weekly fair value gap. So I'm looking for a liquidity sweep, and I'm actually going to add Lockheed Martin for the long term if we can take out these two sets of sell side. But regardless here, I mean, Lockheed is down. Whoops, let's get the magnet tool off. We're down almost 30%, 31% from the highs. So definitely a good spot for the long term. If we can get down here, that's a 36% drop. So if you're looking for a good defense company to add for the long term, I mean, Lockheed Martin is awesome. And 101 billion, can't really go wrong there. I mean, you can, but Lockheed Martin is probably not going anywhere. Robert or Rachel, any trades today? I can tell you guys right now, there hasn't really been anything A+. I mean, if you're a 2022 model trader and we traded back down into this 1 minute, maybe, but nothing really A+ for me here. ES, maybe we can find something on ES, guys. And again, the target here is the 4-hour wick. So I would be looking for some kind of a liquidity sweep and then a trade into it. Though it's possible that we just go higher here and trade all the way. From here on ES, we're looking at 17, 18 points. From NQ, well, yeah, NQ's is much higher up, guys. But NQ would be 170 points. So night and day, point-wise. He said they'll make money no matter what. They're not going to bankrupt ever. Well, I'm sure the Lockheed Martin has a lot of cash on hand. I don't think they have much debt. And they have a lot of government contracts, I'm sure. So, yeah, it's unlikely. But these big companies, guys, yeah, very likely to go bankrupt. They have a lot of funding from our government. And, yeah, definitely something to look at for the long term and investing and buying the dips. 30% discounts on major companies is nothing to... you don't want to just brush past that. Excuse me. Okay, so again, nothing here. I'm even looking at the 30-second chart. There was a tiny 30-second IFEG, but nothing that I would take. Is the ES retesting its lows? No, not even close. Wow. I'm just looking at him stock that I told you guys that I added last week. We had the most volume, green volume on him stock that we've had since February of 2025 and then November of 2024. Pretty good sign there. I like to see that. Where is Rishua? It's got multiple things that can be used as catalysts. When the military announces they're buying exoskeletons, I'm assuming. Yeah, exo, you said. For the troops, that's going to shoot the stock. Yeah, probably. That'd be crazy. So give us the insider information, Warriors. Give us inside information, Robert. I want some insider trading going on here. We got to be like Nancy Pelosi. But I have my alert set on Lockheed. In fact, I'll put it here as well so that we might get it on the screen. But if we can sweep this sell side liquidity on Lockheed, this is going to be a good buy opportunity, in my opinion, for the long term. So we'll have that set. There's really nothing here, guys. What we'll probably do here is trade back into this 5. So maybe there could be a setup there, but I doubt it. Yeah, there's nothing here. But this is probably going to trade below this low so that we can rebalance the 5-minute gap. All right. So I still think we're probably going to come back and rebalance this 5 at some point. Maybe we can get a really clean 1-minute setup here. I don't know. Looks like it's unlikely, but we'll see. But you guys see how there's absolutely nothing here, right? With all these wicks, no fair value gaps being formed. There is a little 3-minute gap here and a 5-minute below it. But basically, guys, my target right now for the 5 is going to be a sweep of this low right here. Is there a 3-minute as well? 3-minute is much, yeah, that's what I said. There's a 3-minute that's much lower that I hope that we do balance. All right, there it is. So maybe the 5 comes next. I don't know. But if we're going to be bullish from here, there should be a decent setup to go higher. Maybe target the high of day. But you can see here, guys, like always, if you're unsure about what to do in the markets, look for PD arrays below you because oftentimes the market will go down to rebalance them or vice versa. If you have PD arrays that have formed on the day above you, it's very likely we'll go up to retest them. So in this case, this is the bullish 5-minute fair value gap. We came down and tested it, and it's likely to go higher. Oh, my dog's here. Hold on, guys. Come on, Lou. Come on up. Come on. All right, so nice rebalance there. And now we do have some order blocks here on the 5 that we could use to continue higher. But if there's an A+ setup to get somewhere here, then I'll consider something. But if we're talking about like a unicorn, first of all, this is not, I mean, there's a breaker right here, right? Low, high, lower, low. But there's no really nice fair value gaps within it. There is this 5-minute inverse fair value gap, which I guess you could use, but we'll see what we get here. Nothing that I personally, I don't use a unicorn for my model. But it could be something that would be good. We'll see. See if ES is behaving a lot stronger, still holding. Its buy side was here, right? And our buy side for NQ is here, and it's hasn't even come close to testing it here, but on ES, on NQ it has, so definitely more strength in ES. If you're looking to trade something to the long side, ES is probably your better bet here. And there's the trade into the 3-minute. So if this 3-minute inverses to the downside, I mean, this could be a short. And if the 5-minute does as well, so like if we get the close below here on the 5 and on the 3, then we could maybe look for a short within here to target the lows that formed right here. But so far we are holding this bullish 3-minute fair value gap, so nothing in this leg that would tell me to go higher. Definitely not. There's a tiny 1-minute for value gap here, but that is nothing that I would take. This looks like an intraday sell model to go lower, to target this low right here, and then potentially the low below it. And then maybe then we could actually rebalance that new week opening gap. We'll see. So just paying attention to this 3-minute bullish gap to see if we close below it. If we do, I think that'll be a good short down to these lows. Okay, here's the rebalance of the bearish 3-minute gap. Could try this. Good morning, Charlie. What's up, brother? 10:15. So we got 3 minutes till this candle close. If this ends up closing above, we'll probably go back to the high of day. So bounce from a bullish 3, inversing a 3-minute with a clear target. And like I said, guys, ES is strong on the day, and I think its draw is this 4-hour high. So we could get a setup here to the upside. Let's see. I mean, this isn't the biggest 3-minute gap, but it looks okay. It doesn't look like we're going to get the setup, but we'll see. Like, if I was to take this 3-minute, guys, I would do this with very small size. Like a quarter of a position. Because this is not big enough. But I'd give this like a 6.5, 6 out of 10 maybe. Because the bias today is probably bullish based on ES PA. And based on the fact that we have pushed way past this daily high already. So, I mean, the daily close here is going to be important, but I think ultimately this high on the daily is the draw. So, there is the 3-minute close above, guys. I don't think this is A+, but I think it's probably going to work to this high. Like I said, it's too small, but we'll see. And the RR is not great either, right? Unless you have a strong target that's much higher to take this, then it's not worth it in my view, because your stop to break even will have to be at this high. So it's not really sensible to take this because the RR, I mean, it's better than a 1-to-1, but I prefer to take 2-to-1 minimum trades, right? Like a 1-to-1 like this is not A+ in my view. But that doesn't mean you can't sit and watch it work, right? Is anybody in this 3-minute long? Again, nothing I'm taking on a cash or funded account, no way, but still could work. Dude, Tesla's at 9%. Let's go. That is amazing. Yeah, Chula never goes long on premium. That makes so much sense. It's not worth it. Also, if you look at the hourly leg of price, guys, I mean, if you look at this leg right here, okay, and you draw the 50% from high to low, we are in premium of this range. If you go up higher, we're still in premium of the range. If you go up higher, we are still in premium of the range. So, in my opinion, this is not a great place to look for longs. However, we are quite low on this in the grand scheme of things, like of the whole range. Oh, whoops. Of this whole leg of price from the highs that we formed, we still are in discount, but intraday, we're definitely not in discount. So, still think it's a decent place to look for longs, but we need a very obvious draw on liquidity, and right now I'm not seeing a really, really good draw. So, you still have to be smart about where you're entering your longs, but nonetheless, you can see this is working. So, if you're in this, guys, your stop should for sure be to break even here, in my opinion. We're really close to this high, and if we're gonna deliver, we should just do it. So, So you can see we came super close to the high of day and we rejected it. Dude, Tesla with a 10% day. This is actually insane. We haven't had a 10% day in a minute. Look at this. Look at this candle, guys. This is so bullish after two pin bars like this at a daily fair value gap, at a daily gap, and a weekly fair value gap. Crazy. So what I'm going to really pay attention to this week is how is the volume, how is the weekly and daily volume on this chart? That's going to be super important. Like we've had very bullish weekly candles here, very bullish weekly volume here, here, and here. So I want to see a nice big pump. So we'll see what happens with Tesla. But again, guys, we've been adding this position all below 220, between 220 and 180 have been my main ads, though I've gotten ads below 150 as well. After this sell side was taken, trading into a bullish for value gap, this was also a big ad point for me for the long term. Okay, so there's the high of day liquidity sweep on NQ. So I think we could go higher here, but again, there's no setup. There was a 3-minute, but this wasn't A plus to me. And yeah, so now we sit and we wait. ES getting close to this high. If we can get a setup on ES, I mean, maybe I'll consider taking something, but there's nothing in here. There's no setups that are forming. Hold on, guys. My dog is doing something weird. All right, I'm back. Jose, done for the day. Too much choppy chop. This is not really choppy chop PA. Sorry guys, my my dog was like bouncing. It was really weird. I've never seen her do that before. Like she's lying in her spot in this room and she was like bouncing. It was really weird. um so I put it on mute just to make sure she was all right. I think she is, but oh my god, AMD is also pumping nicely. So guys, Chula just said look at the hourly. Um, I think this is the draw, and there's a new week opening gap up here. It's very small, but I think this is going to come. There's also a high here on the hourly that we can target right below it. From here, we're looking at, give or take, 140 points. I didn't have it in the exact spot it needed to be, but that could happen today. It's just, I don't know. We have big news this week, GDP on Thursday. So that's going to be the primary objective day that I'm looking to trade. And again, that will be in the Discord. I will not be live on YouTube for that. But I think it's going to be an incredible day to get a really good move. And then Friday, we have a really good 8:30 red folder news as well. So I think Friday will be a great day to trade. We have another little 5-minute fair value gap right here that we will probably come down and rebalance based on... I mean, if you guys also pay attention, okay, look at the London and Asia session. We had a pretty sizable move in Asia-London. This is 177 points already. Now, it's not a 400-point move like we had the other day that I said we're probably going to get chopped. But it's just obvious here that we're in a shorter time frame buy program. But these are my objectives for the next few days right here. If you look at the 4-hour chart, this internal high, these internal highs, and potentially up here. You have to think everybody who is short the market has their stop losses above all of these highs right here. So realistically, we're going to come up and at least tag these two and then go up here to these three. So those are my objectives. And then maybe we get a final fill of this daily gap before driving in the lows for the year. We'll see. But if Trump mentions something or the Fed starts to do surprise rate cuts or the tariff situation eases up, then we could see like a blow off top here and see the all-time highs get hit again. I told you guys on NQ we have lots of equal highs resting above here. We have tons of equal highs in this leg of price. So definitely potential for bullishness over the coming weeks and months. So we'll see. All right, Tesla's officially at a 10% day. That is wild. So if we were to sell the 307 calls, even for this week, it pays $100 per contract. 307 calls would be 11% from here. That's pretty good, but there's a lot of momentum here. So I don't think today's the best day to sell calls. Wait for a few more green days on Tesla. But if you want to take advantage and get that premium, I mean, it's not the worst idea in the world. Yeah, it's crazy, Jose. We had a pretty big gap up, and I think ultimately this will be a draw on liquidity, right? This new week opening gap, but we'll have to see. I think we'll get some more bullishness before that happens. Like I'd like to see these highs get swept before we target that new week opening gap. But if we do end up getting this new week opening gap, I think we will probably go and sweep all-time lows again first. We'll see. Again, all we can focus on is what we have in front of us, right? And right now, we've already hit the daily objective. And everything else here is just icing on the cake. Jose, did you what trades did you take today? You said you were done for the day, but also guys, if you've taken any trades today and you thought they were bad trades or you lost, let me know what you took and we can go over them. Evan Lucas, if I want us to back test NQ, what symbol should I use? You just use NQ1. You use a continuous contract. If you go on FX Replay, Evan, that's the website that I'm going to be using to backtest probably later this week. I believe they just use NQ1. But there's a continuous contract you can use. All right, so there's a 5-minute fair value gap here that we're probably going to come down and rebalance here, realistically. We've swept buy side, so maybe this will be what drives us lower here. That's what I'm thinking. And there's the rebalance right there. See that? 5-minute rebalance. So you guys, these are actually pretty good scalps that you can take to rebalance fair value gaps. Is it a A+? No, but it's something that's decent. That's twice that's happened here, right? I told you guys that this 5-minute was going to get rebalanced, and we did on this leg of price. Then I said this 5-minute was likely to be rebalanced, and we did it on this leg of price. So really good scalps if you guys want to try them. Again, you'd have to have some kind of a lower time frame entry, like the 15 or the 30-second, which you don't often get really good ones, but you can see we swept high of day, and then we're coming back to rebalance the 5. So But Evan, my question was, sorry, that I forgot to ask you was what software are you looking to backtest? Are you just looking to use like the replay feature on TradingView, or were you looking to use FX Replay? So this is not the type of setup I'm looking for shorts. Evan, yeah, FX Replay is definitely better, and you can get a free trial. Like when I do the back testing, I don't pay for it anymore. I used to, but I'll probably just use the free trial version. It has a lot of features. You don't need to pay for it. Paying for it gives you a few better things, but you don't need it. Infinite email glitch. Yeah, you can use a bunch of different emails, different credit cards, whatever. So this is a BPR right here, balanced price range. You can see it's kind of like a V-shaped recovery. We traded back down into it here with this candle. Not the full BPR, but some of it. And that could be used to go higher here. Again, there's nothing here that's really A plus that I want to take. There is this little 1 minute here, but not great in my view. But this is probably going to take us back up to the high of day. And then probably higher. We have a weekly level on QQQ at 490.73, which is probably somewhere up here that we're probably going to aim for today. And that pairs with the thesis that ES is going to hit its hourly and 4-hour high here. So if you guys want to try this 1 minute long, you can. I don't think it's A plus, but I think this will probably drive us at minimum to the high of day. So we'll see. Nothing that I'm going to be taking personally, but still not a bad thing to study. Uh-oh. Again, not an A plus setup, like I said, but nothing I am taking. I haven't taken a single trade today, guys. We hit our daily objective super early of the day in the day, and since then there's really been nothing that I really loved. Right, this 3 minute was decent, but it wasn't A plus. It did end up hitting the high, so if you took that, congrats. I called it out live, but I did not take it personally because of the reason that we already hit our daily objective. And yeah. So far, this 1 minute still is holding, right? If you took this and you didn't move your stop to break even here, which I wouldn't have, but I would never take this setup anyways on a live account. Your stop on this trade is going to be a 1 minute close back below the fair value gap. So we'll probably come back now and rebalance this BPR, like I said earlier. Fully rebalance it. So maybe trade back into this 3 minute right here. Doesn't have to, but it should, in theory, come back and retest it. So I'm going to be very patient and see if Tesla holds this 10% day. If it holds this 10% day, that's going to be a great sign for the longer term, I think. But yeah, if you guys are looking for some kind of a back testing software, I would definitely look into FX Replay. Just use the free trials that they give you. Great, great company. Is Kay, are you in here? Is Kay from my Discord in the live stream right now? I don't know if he is. So now that my thesis is we're going to rebalance this 3-minute fair value gap, we can look at the 1 minute and the 30-second to see if there's anything that would justify that. So like right now on the 15-second chart, we have some bearish fair value gaps here that we could be using to retest to go lower. But I don't use the 15-second to trade, so. You can see here on the 1 minute that we, of course, have rebalanced this little 1 minute fair value gap, but we still have an unbalanced one here, and we have that 3 minute. So we'll see. But again, guys, nothing here is A+ in my view. It's just kind of like, what do they call it? Tape reading. You guys have to know when are the good days to sit out and when are the good days to execute. And right now, this is, to me, not a good day to execute, especially when the daily target has been filled. But again, we have this BPR here. It's likely that we come down and retest it, especially because we've had such a big move, or not a huge move, but a pretty decent sized move in the London and Asia session. Almost 200 points. If you combine this from just about the start of the Asia session, we're looking at pretty much 300 points for the day. So I would not be surprised if we don't get delivery and we just kind of retrace back into the range, which is why that 3 minute fair value gap looks pretty good as a draw intraday. Again, I wouldn't just enter short and pray that we get it. I would look for some kind of a setup. And right now, I'm not seeing that, so. So maybe what happens here is we get a sweep of this high right here, and then we get a trade back down into the 3 minute. So this could be the leg of price that drives us down here. Yeah, FX replay is better. So what I'm looking at here, let me pull up an eval on Top Step. Let's pull up an old eval. All right, so if I'm looking at the 15-second chart here, you can see we have this 15-second fair value gap and the volume imbalance. So my guess is that we come up and trade to this high. Again, just looking at what I would potentially look for here. Trade into this high, sweep buy-side liquidity, and then get the rejection that would ultimately target that 3-minute fair value gap that we're looking at below us. So if we're destined to trade within the range today, then this is what I'd be looking for. A sweep of this high, trade into this 15-second fair value gap and volume imbalance to rebalance it, and then go back down here, which would give us a 32-point move. So let's see if we get that. So there's the sweep of buy side. So what I'd want to see here is like, just like this, right? You want to see the candle hold this and then immediately reject. So if we can close a body back below all of this, like this candle gets a 15-second fully like engulfing candle below this candle's low, then I think that would be a pretty good short down here. So if we get like a trade here, you would put your stop at the high of day and then you would target the 3-minute. That's a 4.22 to 1 RR trade. But because we just closed above the 15-second, guys, that is invalidated for me. That tells me we're likely to go back up to the highs and then probably go higher. So this trade is invalidated here, if that makes sense. But now what I'd want to see is this hold and then use it as support to go higher here. But like the fact that we're closing above fair value gaps and below, not an ideal sign. Nothing on the 30-second that I really like, but if you guys want to try this 15-second short, you can. I don't think it's A+ now that we closed above here. But nonetheless, it could work. I already took a trade on this eval, so I'm not gonna I'm not gonna take something else on that account at least. Has anybody else taken a losing trade today? If you guys have taken something that you've lost on, I want to know what you took, and maybe we can overview it, because there really is nothing here. We can look at the rest of the stocks. If you guys have stocks you want me to analyze, we can, but good, Evan, I'm glad. I'm very happy AMD is having this bullish day. Okay guys, so if you're looking for a swing, again, I don't normally call this on YouTube, but I will today. This is a very good sign to me on AMD. If we were able to close the daily candle above this daily fair value gap, I think this is going to be the start of an intraday, intra-week, intra-month long swing with potential targets here at 116, and then targets up here at 119, targets up here, 125.65, and then ultimately 131. I think if this closes above, maybe we'll get a retest into the daily gap, but I think we're going to have a pretty big push. So looking at potentially a 16%, 17% upside on AMD if we can break out of this and start making a higher high, especially if we get a strong displacement above this internal high here at 116. That'll be a great sign. All right, so we ended up closing above the 15, then closing below it, and then closing above it again, and that drove us higher. So I think the draw is probably still higher here. ES, again, the target is that hourly high. No real setup here to get there. I mean, there was actually 2 1 minutes here. That didn't look terrible, but not something I personally love. Yeah, try typing in NQ1, Evan, on FX Replay. I can't remember if they have their own contract for it or not, but I think NQ1 will be best. And like I have here, NQ1 exclamation mark. This is a continuous contract. Crazy strength here. Just looking to see if we rebalance this hourly fair value gap or not. Missed it by a tick. Interesting. Wow. So I think that probably what will happen today on Tesla is we'll have another sweep of this high right here. And then maybe a rejection from this hourly fair value gap. Right? And that comes from this tiny little fair value gap that not a lot of people pay attention to. So let's pay attention to Tesla and see if we get that sweep of this high. Stop out everyone who's trying to short here on this leg of price, then get a real short from down here, or from up here, I mean. So 1 minute OB forming here potentially after trading into a bullish fair value gap. If this ends up closing below, I think this is a pretty decent short. But again, objectively, I mean, the target on ES is higher, so probably wouldn't take this anymore because I think we're going to go higher here. Tesla, again, I'm looking to see a sweep above this high and then a rejection potentially. But again, it's tough because, so I'll explain to you guys what I'm seeing here. This is a system I've developed personally, but this is the QQQ chart, and we have a weekly level here. I'm not going to explain exactly how it works, but it's hard for me to short this on NQ when we have a weekly level above. And the fact that ES, because normally these act as a magnet for price, and the fact that ES has its buy-side liquidity so close here, just how many points did we say this was? 12 points away, which for ES is actually a decently sizable move. It moves less than NQ typically. Just the fact that this is here tells me that we're likely to continue higher on NQ as well. So it's difficult for me to take this short, even though we swept buy side. And again, high time frame wise, this is a very strong set of displacement above this daily high, which tells me that we're going here over the next few days. So very difficult to short here. So if you guys want to try this, you can. Again, I don't think this is A plus because the bias, high time frame bias, is bullish. But if you want to try this short, targeting this low and then a rebalance of the 3 here, I mean, the RR is great on the trade. It's just that the bias is not great. Like, I think this is probably going to come up and sweep this high one more time and then go a little higher for this 1050 macro. But, again, just not an A plus short in my view. If you want to try it, you can. But in my view, I don't like it personally. And again, you'd have to wait for the 1 minute to close below, right? And there's a 2 minute, and there's a 3 minute, and there's a bullish 5. So this is very tough to take short, I'll be honest. You really would want to wait for the 5 minute to close below to really even consider a short. Right? The 5 minute is right here. This is the bullish 5 minute gap that we should use to go higher here. So if this ends up closing below, I think that is a much more telling sign that we're going to end up taking out this low and then rebalancing this 3 minute. But until that happens, guys, there's no way that I would even consider a short here. Because it could be bouncing from, like I said, the 1 minute fair value gap that's bullish. It could be bouncing from the 2 minute that's bullish. It could be bouncing from the 3 minute that's bullish. It could be bouncing from the 5 minute that's bullish. Too many confluences here to go up. Does that make sense, guys? Do you see how I'm panning through the different time frames? And that my higher time frame bias is bullish, so you basically are looking for, if your high time frame is bullish, you want to look for bullish setups. You don't want to be looking for bearish setups. Unless you have enough screen time and you know, like intraday, we're very likely to target some type of PD array and you scalp it. But apart from that, there should be no reason you're looking for like bigger moves to the downside here, in my view. Until this changes, right? Until we can sweep this low. I'm close below this 5 minute fair value gap, sorry. We have a bullish PD array here, right? A bullish set of down close candles. This is an order block on the 5 minute. So in theory, this should be used as support to go higher here. So wouldn't be surprised to see a set of up close candles here close above this high now. I want to see Tesla sweep all this. And you guys can see Tesla's a very big mover on the day. It's 10%. So this is driving the market higher for sure, and it's taking the NASDAQ with it. It obviously has a big sway in the market. What are we at now market cap wise? Almost 800 billion, I'm guessing. 900 billion for Tesla, so. Lots of liquidity driving NASDAQ higher because it's a big part of tech, right? Okay, so now we are trading into that 2 minute fair value gap and that 3 minute fair value gap. Interesting. Nothing on the 15 or 30, so the main thing I'd focus on here is the 5 and below. So again, right now, the thesis is, guys, that this 5 minute fair value gap is going to be used to go higher here. Oops. So if you're looking at the lower time frames, like the 30 or the 15, maybe you could look for a long setup from within those, but ES still showing higher highs and higher lows. And again, ultimately, this is the target here, that hourly buy side right there. So we're basically looking for PA to support price going there. You can see that we're forming kind of like LRLR here. This is like a bull flag, I guess retail would call it, but okay, so the 5-minute now is fully rebalanced. We have it. We're trading back into these order blocks here. Ideally, what I'd like to see here is some kind of an A plus IFEG to go higher, but there's nothing in this leg of price that I love. So you can see that this is a very bullish wick from within this bullish 5-minute gap. So this is still supporting price going higher here, but again, there's nothing on the lower time frames, meaning the 1 minute, that I would ever take here. Even if this works, guys, like, I'm not going to get FOMO if this pumps above all this LRLR. It just is what it is. I don't think that it's just going to cleanly deliver through, but we'll see. By the way, the 15-second is about to close above here, so if you're looking for a scalp, we'll see if this closes above. If the 15-second closes above, you can take a very small scalp. Whoa! Rejection from that 15. See, like, this is not PA I want to be a part of, guys. Not at all. The daily objective, I told you guys already, was hit. So if this 5-minute closes below, which happens in 3 minutes, right, at 8:05 or 11:05 Eastern, then this could be a good short to rebalance that 3-minute gap if you guys want to try it. So it would look like this. Oops, that's a long setup. If the 5-minute closes below, you would move your stop to break even when this internal low hits, and then you would hold down to this 3-minute fair value gap, which comes from right here, this BPR. But so far, the 5-minute is still holding price, so no reason to short yet. You need to see confirmation of this candle's body closing below the bullish 5-minute gap. I teach this all the time in the shorts, right? If a fair value gap is bullish, right? This is a green candle, so this is a bullish fair value gap. In theory, it should be used to support price, but if we close below it, then that's a signal that the market structure is changing. We can target the next internal low and then the next PD array below it as our targets. But so far, there is no reason to think this is bearish, right? We're strongly wicking, trying to stop out traders on this wick, and price is reacting bullishly here, so. This is probably going to drive us all the way up. Oh, HIMS is pumping. Did anybody enter HIMS with me? The HIMS stock? When I entered in the low 30s? You guys remember when I called out HIMS on the live stream? Those of you that are in the Discord, I said that we rebalanced the 3-month and I added here in this leg of price. We're already up from my entries About 12% here, give or take. You guys see how that works? So I'm probably going to take a portion of profits when we hit this 37 level, and the reason being is because we have an internal high here that I think will probably come close to rebalancing. But ultimately, this is a long-term hold to fill these gaps up here. We have lots of gaps that need to be filled. Okay, so do not be surprised now if NQ, again, uses this bullish fair value gap to take out the high of day and then continue higher here. That's my, my thesis. Bang. Meltra, nice trade, jackass. Thanks, man. Appreciate it, bro. Or not Meltra, Maitra. Okay, so again, let's take a look at ES and see here. So again, that 4-hour and hourly high still has not been filled, but I think this is the objective for ES. And as long as ES drives higher, NQ should drive higher as well. So I think this is going to continue here at minimum to like 2371, and then maybe we get a rejection from that point, but I hope you guys understand how these PD arrays work. Again, I thought this was going to be used to go higher, and if it closed below, we could take a short. But because it held this, then we're going higher here. Jose, you know, if you go to your 3-minute chart, you can see where we turned bullish from the 641 candle to 645. 641. Are you looking at New York Time, Jose? Sorry, I'm just looking at this Maitra comment. Nice trade, jackass. People just come onto streams and they just say random BS. Oh, PST? Well, tell me what it is in UTC-5 or UTC-4. Your 941 candle. Turned bullish from 641 to 645 on the 3-minute. On the 3-minute. Well, the 3-minute's 42 to 45, but I mean, yes and no. You can't really say that this is the main reason we turned bullish. Like, there's plenty of times where we create a new high and then we completely reject it, so. But now pay attention to this 1 minute. This should act bullishly to go higher here. If we close below this, then that would probably be a decent short down to this low. But there's not really a good stop to break even here. Create a fair value gap that we retested later on. Yes, that's true. But here, for me, there's no real model to enter anything. There's not even, I mean, there's a tiny 1 minute fair value gap here, but we closed all the way up here. We wicked. And this is not a model for me to enter. But it is true that this tiny little 1 minute IFEG right here, well, we can use them both, got traded into with this wick. But this is not an entry for me. This is not my model. See if ES is pumping more. Interesting. ES is actually, I mean, we still have a decent amount of space to go here. What is this? How many points? 8 points. But we really want to see this 1 minute act as a bullish support for price. But this is not a 1 minute that I would long personally. It's high risk, but if we close below this, we can study this and see if we sweep this low. Again, nothing here is for me to trade. This is not good PA for me, and the daily target has been filled, like I said earlier. But it's definitely something you could tape read. Wow. I'm officially green on AMD, guys. After all of my ads, I'm officially green. But again, that is a long-term hold. Okay, so if this ends up closing below, I think this is a decent short. Let's see if there's an SMT with ES. No, they're both making lower highs here. But pay attention to this. I'm not taking this short. Again, this is not an A+ setup, but this could work. There's not enough of a liquidity sweep for me to even consider shorts here. But if we close below this on the 1 minute, let me see if there's a 2 and a 3. There is a 2 minute. So not A+. Again, guys, there's too many fair value gaps here that we need to... Like, if we end up closing here and didn't trade into this 3 minute, this would be a good entry, and you'd have to immediately move your stop to break even when this hits. But nothing A+ here. Just something to tape read. Major, do you think that we'll fill the daily imbalance? Let's take a look at the daily. At 2413. What daily imbalance? Are you looking at NQ1 or are you looking at NQH? Or NQM? What is it again? Is it NQM that we're supposed to be on right now? So we are trading into this daily, it's a daily gap and a new week opening gap. I'll probably fill this new week opening gap, yeah. I don't see a daily imbalance meter on NQ1. There is a daily imbalance on NQM, but they track the same thing. So if you were looking at this new week opening gap here, this should fill all the way up to the high, which is at 20,421. Let's go back to NQ1 real quick. Meant the gap. Where do you see a gap on the daily here on NQ1? Do you guys see a daily gap here? There's no fair value gap. This is a wick, so there's no fair value gap here. Mitri, you're right. The other one. So yes, if you're looking at NQM, guys, both track the exact same thing, but you can see here that we have this new week opening gap that formed from Friday, March 7th to Sunday, March 9th. I think this will be filled. You do have to be careful because we do have a high that I think we just swept by a tick. So it's not a good idea to enter longs here. Your longs should have been entered on some other leg of price, and you should be taking partials here and a partial if we do end up filling the gap. But this is not the right spot to be longing. But realistically, it's very likely that we fill this whole new week opening gap, because the last time we traded, when we created this, we did not fully fill it. So there's lots of unbalanced PA here. There's lots of liquidity resting in this part of the new week opening gap. Bruh. Guys, make sure you follow sound risk management like Maitra. He just longed in heavy premium on the day at the end of the macro time after sweeping liquidity because I said that we're probably going to fill this. Be prepared, Maitra, to potentially hold a big inverse Maitra trades. Be prepared to hold through a big pullback, but eventually, yes, I think you'll be right, but be prepared to have some drawdown. Oh my god, that's hilarious. Guys, always be aware of liquidity on the higher time frames. Don't just long because I say it's probably going to fill. If you were trading QQQ or SPY, I would say sure, hold that for the long term. But this is also a futures contract and you're trading with leverage. So if we end up having a big sell model here, you're going to get liquidated. Most likely, unless you have a huge cash account. So I hope you're trolling, Mitra. But if you're not, may God be with you. Guys, everybody, I want everyone to comment, you know, like that emoji with the praying. I need everyone to have their thoughts and prayers for Maitra. He went all in on a long here, hoping that this gap is going to fill. So let's pray for him. I'll start for you, bro. Let's do an angel halo. Get some candles in there too, guys. You need, like, the candle lighting is important too. I'm praying for you, Mitra. Let's go, bro. Oh shoot, I forgot to post the Discord. Alright, hymns just crossed 37. So if you guys are looking to take some partials here, I am going to partial on hymns after being up like 13%, give or take. Even more. 14 plus. In literally 1, 2, 3 days. You know how the average return on the S&P 500 is about 8% a year. So we were just able to get 14% return on this trade. Obviously, I'm not sizing like I would on NQ. I mean, on a QQQ or SPY, but pretty good to be able to get 14% in a few days. So I am going to partial here, like I said. Wow, Tesla's up 273. So again, guys, I think, like I said, this hourly fair value gap is going to get filled, most likely. So this is a better full port, Maitra. If you want a full port Tesla and take your profits at this internal high, you can make, if you buy 100 shares right now, you can make a quick $100. So it's really good, guys. Make sure you're risking $100 to potentially lose 2,400. I think that's a great RR. So I just posted the Discord, guys. If you guys want access, there is a free 3-day trial. I'm going to be live streaming on YouTube the next 2 days, so you guys will be fine to join that. But the best days of the week, Thursday, Friday for GDP and what do we have? GDP and PCE. Thursday, Friday are going to be the best days to trade. These 2 days will be... We'll potentially get some decent stuff. We do have new home sales at 10 tomorrow, so we might get some movement, but it's not going to be nearly as much as GDP and PCE. So just a heads up, guys. Mitra, if you need any full port longs, just let me know, bro, and I'll give you really good RR. Like risking $100 to make, risking $2,000 to make $100. If you guys like the sounds of those odds, let me know. I'll give you guys tons of really good RR plays just like that. Like when I go to Vegas, my objective is to try and risk about $3,000 to make about $100. Because if you do that over time, there you go, Maritra. Like think about it, guys. If you risk $100 to make $3,000 over time, that's like a win-win for you, right? Because if you make $100 and you lose $3,000, do that over 100 trades, you could potentially make, let's think about this for a second. $100 times 100 trades, you could make $10,000. You guys see that? $10,000. And all you'd be risking is $300,000. So just think about that statistic there. You could make $10,000. Right? Who wouldn't want to make $10,000? All you have to do is risk $300,000. Okay? Thank you for coming to my TED Talk, my education. I think it's really important that you guys try and follow that type of risk management. Super important. Thank you. And Mitra, if you want, we can also get you a channel in the Discord too, so that you can call out your own plays, right? So that you can teach other people how to full port. I think that'd be awesome. All right, so realistically, guys, going back to somewhat normal trading here, we are in this new week opening gap. We did sweep liquidity. We'll probably come back and retest the low of this new week opening gap before potentially going higher. So there is another set of liquidity right above the one that we just hit on the 15, which I would not be surprised if we get. Again, is there a setup here? Absolutely not. But just be aware, guys, when you sweep liquidity, this is not when you want to be entering longs. It's very easy to get retracements, so. If this ends up inversing to the downside, do not be surprised, guys, if we get a full-blown retracement to sweep somewhere in this up-close candle's PA. So if you want to try a short, I mean, you're welcome to. I don't think it's A+, but I think we're probably going to come down and sweep this candle's low if we end up getting a 1 minute close below here. If this 1 minute holds, then we'll probably just keep going up, sweep the high of day, get this liquidity sweep. And we just formed equal highs here, by the way, on the 15, so. Guys, also, if you're in the stream, make sure you like the stream so that nobody else sees the stream. The more likes that you give on the stream, the less people will see the stream. Just a heads up. Okay, so no close just yet, right? This is going to close in 5-10 seconds. So let's see if we get the 1 minute close here. I don't like that we got this liquidity sweep first. So this is not A+ by any means. And we just got the close below. So unfortunately, even if I was short here, I wouldn't really be able to enter this because we've already swept internal sell side. Even though this will probably go lower here and target this low, it's not as good of an entry now that that liquidity sweep happened. Especially because we have equal highs above us now from that 15-minute chart. Like I said, that high right there and the high of day today are perfectly equal to the tick. So this, if you guys didn't know, is a magnet for price. They're called perfect equal highs. They are a magnet for price. So this will probably hit either later today or maybe tomorrow. But for now, because of this close, we're likely to go down and at least fill this new week opening gap. Sorry, not fill, but retest the bottom of it. But definitely, if you're in this trade and this low hits, your stop should be at break even. Because if this is going to be bearish, we should just deliver down without retracing back into this fair value gap. So there it is. The low got swept. I would definitely, if you entered from here, guys, my stop would definitely be at break even. I would have taken a partial here and then targeted maybe the low of this new week opening gap or close to it. So like somewhere around here, I would take my second partial and then I would hold runners if you have them down to these lows here. And if we end up sweeping this low today, and maybe these two lows, then maybe we get a reversal setup up to the equal highs. I'm just panning through higher time frames to see if there's anything that I notice. The only thing I see here is a bullish 5 minute and this new week opening gap. But nothing on the lower time frames to get to here anyways. So you can see that we traded into this volume imbalance. And now I think we're probably going to end up at the bottom of this new week opening gap and probably sweep this liquidity, but we'll see. Again, nothing that I think is A+ that I would enter here. You can see we closed below, swept some liquidity, retraded into the IFEG, like I said, and then this will probably deliver lower, but we have equal highs above. So not something that I would personally look for shorts here. Did anybody take, so I don't know if you guys are in the Discord, but last week on Friday, we called a really nice short here. This was an IFEG before liquidity, new week opening gap, and we closed below here. I took this 3-minute short, and we traded to this TP and this TP. Did anyone take that short with me? I know a few people did in the Discord, but I don't know if anyone's on the live here that took that short. Mitra, back-to-back bangers. Yeah, bro, that full port long really helped you here, huh? What did that bring your, did you double your account size going long right here? And the Tesla trade? That full port long right here for Tesla too? That's like back-to-back, like 100% winners, no? Not quite 100%. That's right, Maritra. Bro, you can't let two losers, like, just think about all the potential winners you have. There's so much potential to win in the future. And if you stop now, you could be like missing the gold mine. You know what I mean? You can't let two losers get you down, bro, because next thing you have to do is like double the risk on your trade. So the next trade, if it wins, it ends up far surpassing your losers, right? The best thing you can do, guys, exactly. You can't lose. You can't be in a loss like officially unless you stop trading. Always remember that. There you go, Maitra. Guys, you should be taking notes. Look in the chat at Maitra's comments. Take notes on what this guy is saying. Full port long. You can't lose unless you stop. I just let the market borrow my money. It owes me now. Okay, these are very, very important phrases that you guys should be following. Okay, this is how you trade. Just remember. I guarantee you Mitra probably has 10, 15 years of experience. And I think it's just valuable gems that he's dropping, gem after gem after gem today. So I really appreciate your input on the stream, Mitra. It's helping, you know, mold the traders that follow this to, you know, follow really good trading principles. So thank you again. Oh my goodness. Okay, guys, so it's been a minute. We've been streaming for almost 2 hours. Type 1 if I can stay on for another 15 minutes. Do you guys want another 15 minutes or are you guys done? Because I really don't see anything A+ right now. 11:02 order block. 11:02. I mean, technically this is an order block, but really it's all these down close candles. You want to look at the higher time frame. The 5-minute is a more powerful order block here. Okay, I'll stay on for another 15 if you guys want. Again, there's nothing really A+ here that I see, but If you guys want me to continue reading price, I can. This is not a spot to be longing in my views, though. Even though I think these equal highs will likely hit, it's still like not good RR to be trading here. There can be a lot of consolidation before the move. And I think most of these candles are probably just inducement to continue lower and try and generate liquidity here, but Evan's done. Did you take a trade today, Evan, or no? Break even? What setup did you take today, Evan? Just out of curiosity. Oops. So you guys can see here we fully rebalanced the IFEG. My guess is that now this candle is going to take us down here right now. If we can close below this, again, this is not a great IFEG, but if we can close below this, I would not be surprised to see this sweep this low and then go down here. Evan took support and resistance. Oh, man. Okay, so if this candle's low hits, I would move my stop to break even if you entered here and pretty much just hold this down. Or you could move your stop above this candle's body, but I think this is going to draw down lower here and fill this entire new week opening gap, or rebalance it, I guess. I would partial there for sure and take most of my profits off right there on this candle. Major, damn, you're good. Bro, I've just been studying the markets for a long time. And do you guys notice, though, how even though most of the time I can generally predict where the market is going to go, it's not an excuse to enter a trade. This is not A+. Even though it worked, it's not A+. So again, the other thing I don't like about YouTube is that everything is delayed. So, I mean, you guys, when I say something, I try and say it well ahead of time so that you can see what I'm thinking before it actually makes the move. But there is always like a 15-second delay, I believe, or like a 10-second delay. So sometimes you're not going to get the candles will move on your price on your screen before you hear what I say. But it is what it is. Discord is much better because there's very little delay at all. And yeah, so what I'm looking for here, I mean, either this ends up being the support to go higher, or if we can get a liquidity sweep down here, stop out some traders who are long, then maybe we get an A+ setup after that. But nothing here. I don't think that we're going to cleanly deliver up to these equal highs today. But pretty much, guys, if you're looking at the markets, you have to pay attention to very obvious wicks. That's one thing I would suggest. Because anyone who's trying to full port long here, you have to think, where's their stop loss? Likely below this wick. And probably below these wicks as well. So before we go higher in the market, normally we have to sweep liquidity to get traders to sell out of their positions and big money to buy their positions. And that happens at liquidity spots like these wicks. Also, I will note we did just inverse this 5-minute fair value gap to the downside. So very, very high odds that these two lows are going to come now. So if you're looking for an entry here, I mean, you could enter here. It's not very good risk to reward, right? Because the move to from here to here is very small. But if we, for example, get a retracement into this fair value gap or this one, and we get an A plus short, just like we did, well, this is not A plus, but we did get an IFEG here, that would be a better entry than just randomly shorting here, right? So I'm looking for a trade into this imbalance or this imbalance right here, and then some kind of a short setup to get to this low. And if you're like a lower time frame trade or like the 15 or the 30 second, like let's say we get a trade up into this area, then an IFEG, you can target the lows. So you want to look for a 15 or 30 second entry, which so far we don't have, but we might get something within these imbalances on the 1 minute, right? This imbalance and this imbalance. But I hope you guys understand what I'm talking about here, right? This is a bullish 5-minute fair value gap. And in theory, we should use it as support to go higher. But if we close below it, it's very likely that there's a change in the market structure and that we're going to target liquidity to the downside to stop out anyone who is long on this leg of price. So that's why I'm targeting this low and this low. Okay. And this should hit here, but again, if it doesn't, we'll get another retracement into this imbalance. That was the first retracement right there, but this is all that it needs to end up going lower here. And then if this sweeps, then we're very likely to go down into the next set of liquidity here. How is ES doing? Okay, ES still has not swept its hourly buy side, but again, this is the objective. So if we get some kind of retracement here, maybe a trade into this hourly fair value gap, then we can get an upside move. But I normally don't trade ES, but if something really good presents itself, maybe. But for example, if you're thinking about this 1 minute fair value gap right here, I do not think this is A+. I think what's more likely to happen here is that we trade into this and that we reject and we sweep this low right here on ES. Oh my god. Guys, another gem by Maitra. He's going to copy my trades until he goes profitable. I guarantee you guys, if you follow that path, you will never be profitable. Just being realistic with you. And if you ever try and join my Discord just to copy trades, I mean, you might go profitable, but the odds are that you guys are not going to, because you have to have confidence to size up and size down. That for me has happened over years and years and years and years of screen time. So for you, if you ever want to make $1,000 a day or $3,000 a day or whatever it may be, you're not going to have the confidence to hold trades unless you really, really understand what's going on and you really, really realize how high of a probability the setup will be. And it's hard for me to translate that, especially if I'm not live. Like if I make a call out, for example, it's hard for me to type very quickly, like, what are the odds of this trade? How good is this? Like, there's also gut feeling. There's so many different things that are involved. So I hope you don't join a Discord to do that, but that is up to you. I'm not here to teach you or tell you what to do. You can learn the hard way. But yeah, if you're looking for an easy get rich quick scheme, then day trading, I promise you, is not for you. You will end up losing all your money. Yeah, Mitra, don't, bro. Trust me. It's not for you. Okay, so we still have just had one test of this 1 minute bearish for value gap. We could easily get a sweep here and then a 1 minute setup, but for now, I don't know. This is not great to me, but ultimately these two seem to be the draw. But right now, what I'm looking at is this 5 minute inverse. We could even come up and fully fill this before going down. So don't be surprised if we get upside move here to fill these two fair value gaps and then maybe a short. But if we look at ES, this is where I'm looking for a potential short setup. All right, so the 15-second is about to close below here. So this to me is a signal that we're probably going to go down to this low now and then lower. So if you want to take a 15-second entry, that doesn't look half bad. Again, you're on YouTube, so by the time this happens, it's probably going to go, but you would have to cut this trade very quick if this fails. You want to see this deliver now on this leg of price. You don't want to see this stall here. So if the 15-second closes above here, then you should be out of this trade for sure. And really, I mean, you should have your stop to break even here, but this is tough because your entry was here, right? The only way you could comfortably move your stop to break even is if you entered on this retracement. But this should be what delivers us down here. I copied it and we're getting paid. And uh-oh. So really, you don't want to see this go past this 15-minute OB or 15-second order block. If you're in this trade and you really want to hold it, I would put your stop above the order block here. No, Meir probably hold it. Meitra probably hold it. Probably held it. He's gonna, even if it loses, bro, he's gonna hold it all the way up. How do we know? And let's see. Rather not see it stall, but this is fine. We don't want to see it close above this 15-second order block, like I said. Another gem, guys. I don't use stop losses, I only use take profits. Guys, take notes. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Mitra. Uh-oh. So I would definitely be out of this trade right there. That's not good. Okay, so luckily the 15-second IFEG held here. This is the final line of the sand. If you're still in this, Mitra, I would have my stop above that wick right there on the 11:51 and 30-second candle. Because this should just drop here. If it sweeps this high, we're going up further. Uh-oh. SMT with ES on the 11:40 and 11:43 lows in the 1 minute. Let's see if there's an SMT. Uh-oh. So yeah, technically there is an SMT here, but I think NQ never swept its low, so actually this is not an SMT. You guys see how this made a lower low and this made a higher low here? So I don't see an SMT. Even on the 1 minute here. Oh, you're talking about this little SMT right there? Yeah, I don't know. That's not great in my opinion. Like, this is probably still going up. To rebalance these two imbalances here. And they'll probably still go lower, but just a little bit of a manipulation first, if I had to guess. Because you have to think here, this structure is still, I mean, on the lower time frame, it's bearish here, and we're just rebalancing this 5 minute IFEG. So you really want to see this hold. You don't want to see it come much higher than this 5 minute IFEG. If this happens and we close all the way up here, I'd be more worried for sure. So I'm sure that Mitra didn't listen and he's holding this. So you just gotta pray, Mitra. You gotta pray, my brother. Everyone, let's get some more prayers for Mitra. Pray that these equal highs don't get swept that are a magnet for price. Prayers in the chat. Guys, give me some prayers in the chat, please. I'll start. How do I do it again? Pray. All right, Mitra, have a good one, bro. Hopefully you didn't lose your whole life savings on that. I do still think there is hope for downside here, though. But I would not be in this. Praying for the 400s to come soon. This is going to fill eventually, guys. I don't know if it's going to happen today, but you see, what I don't like, we close below the 5 minute, we close back above it. This is not good PA. Realistically, this is probably going to just chop and end up sweeping these lows. If I had to guess, this is still a sell program intraday. but I would not want to be a part of this PA. Again, guys, for those of you guys who don't know or trade IFEGs, they are not only good for confirmation, but they also help you spot bad price action. So this 5-minute FEG that inverse to the downside should have delivered to this low. So the fact that we closed back above it, it tells me that PA is probably going to be bad here. And it's not something that I want to be a part of. All right, so it is now 2 hours and 17 minutes live here. I think I'm going to be done on YouTube. If I see something A+ later, again, I will call it in the Discord under the live alert section. I posted a link to it. It's in the description and it's in the chat. So if you guys want to join, there's a 3-day free trial. Again, not something you need to do, but I will see you guys there. I wish you guys the best. And yeah, see you tomorrow on YouTube, all right? All right, guys, have a good one. Peace.